Today we're going to talk about how to install and adjust an MLToys 4-point safety harness. The first thing you want to do is make sure you have it right side up. It's not always straightforward to people. You have two harnesses that come out on an angle. That's going to go across the hips, and the vertical ones will go across the top. Now every seat's a little bit different, so sometimes it's going to take a little bit of customizing to make it work. And if you have questions, you can always reach out to our tech support. What you do want is to make sure you're marking for your seatbelt installation at the corner of the seat, not all the way forward and not up high. Your two lower points will be at the bottom, and then your top belt should be at shoulder height, which on almost all Power Wheels is going to be as high as possible on here. Some Power Wheels, the kid shoulders will be up here, and they have a roll cage behind the vehicle. If you want to put it on the roll cage behind the vehicle, you're going to have to make sure that roll cage is secure firmly to the vehicle. A lot of them just have one screw holding the points of the roll cage in, and that will pull out. So make sure you reinforce how that's held onto the vehicle, and then don't just attach the safety belt to the roll bar. You'll want to roll it around it and attach it at the bottom backside of the roll bar, and that'll help keep it from pulling. Again, that's going to be on you to make sure you have that strong and secure on the vehicle. So we have 4 points that we're going to have to mark. A lot of cars come with a 2-point harness that'll already have slots in them. You can go ahead and use those slots, but as you can see, our straps are a lot bigger, so we're going to have to extend them larger. This Power Wheel Dune Racer seat that we're using for our demonstration used to have seat belts in an older version of this mold. There's actually marks already on it where you can see that they used to have seat belts. So that's going to make it a lot easier for me to get my bottom settings. I'm using a Dremel tool with a fiberglass cutoff wheel, and I'm just going to reopen the holes that they used to have. The top slots are going to go horizontal, and you want them to be at the same distance apart as your bottom slots are. Now if you notice on this Dune Racer, the headrest is actually offset. It's just decorative. So if I just went here and here, I would be totally wrong. So I want to come straight up from the bottom one and straight up from the bottom one there. And two horizontal slots, of course making sure there's nothing behind the seat that's going to interfere with putting the seat belt through. And again, across here, you see we have two different heights. This is not as high as this. We want to keep the shoulders even with each other. And we'll just clean out all this extra plastic once it's cooled off. And move on to the belt installation. So the next step is going to be to take the appropriate strap for each slot and insert them into place. Make sure that your strap isn't scrunched up. The slot needs to be wide enough for them, and you really don't want to go much wider than that. Now your kit came with a bunch of screws and nuts. What you want to do is take a nut and go just past halfway down the screw. Slide it through the hole in the seat belt. Doesn't matter which side. And then add a nut to the back side. And we'll take a pair of pliers, tighten them down, and that's going to keep our seatbelt from backing out of place. Repeat for the other 3 sides. And there we go. With the safety harness in place, let's talk about the proper adjustment of it. What's most important is that we keep the buckle down low, not up high on the shoulders. The way to do that is once your child gets into the vehicle, you'll want to adjust the bottom belts first. Bring them down snug, and then the top belts. Now the top belts can have some play in them. They don't need to have their backs pressed against the seat the entire time. Give them some freedom of movement. Let them enjoy the vehicle and not feel like they're surgically attached to it. If you need to clean the belts, we recommend just cleaning them with water. Don't use any soaps on them. Soaps over time can get into the belts and cause them to stretch out and will change the adjustment. We also recommend checking the adjustment on the belt each time a rider gets into it. And there you have it, another innovation from MLToys.